The White House says they called Hakeem Jeffries to give him a heads up about the airstrikes, but he didn't pick up the phone. In his defense, nobody ever called him on a Saturday night. Just keep ruling. All right. After Russia suggested that they may supply Iran with nuclear weapons, Trump asked if they were casually throwing around the N-word, nuclear. No. Personally, all I can say is, Mr. President, you my nuclear. Pete Hegseth said the airstrikes gave Iran's nuclear program a final blow. It worked so well, they're calling it Operation Stormy Daniels. All right. Georgia Democrat Hank Johnson posted an awful, out-of-tune version of Jimi Hendrix's song, Hey Joe. Would tell him not to quit his day job, but he sucks at that too. According to a new study, about half of the women say they want children aren't confident they'll actually ever have them. Fortunately, help is on the way. Okay, that's not the joke that I had in rehearsal.
It's funny how people with agendas be trying to pull some snake shit. As soon as they get in somebody's bad graces, leak information about a top secret thing, it seems like that's what happened with this. I guess a preliminary report got leaked to CNN and they ran with it. For more on the story, let's check out this clip together.
3 sources tell CNN that according to an early U.S. intelligence assessment, the U.S. military strikes on 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities last weekend did not destroy the core components of the country's nuclear program and likely only set it back a few months.
That's right. So this is an assessment that actually is out from the Defense Intelligence Agency. That is the Pentagon's intelligence arm. And it was based on a battle damage assessment conducted by U.S. CENTCOM after the strikes, according to one of the sources.
Now that we saw what CNN had to say about the leaks, let's see Fox News dispute that information.
New satellite imagery shows the damage to 3 Iranian nuclear sites the United States targeted in Operation Midnight Hammer. The pictures capture the precision and the depths of the strikes, each one. Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy is near The Hague in Netherlands with more. Peter.
Harris, we can now report the FBI is investigating the leak of that Defense Intelligence Agency assessment that shows with low confidence the Iranian nuclear program was only set back by a number of months. We're also hearing from the Israeli side. They're saying that they believe, their intel shows, that the Iranian nuclear program was rendered inoperable. Iran's foreign minister says the program was badly damaged.
And a funny bit, watch NATO Secretary General call Trump daddy after he attacked Iran. Something nobody else had the balls to do.
Party's over. Dad's home.
They've had a big fight, like 2 kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easier to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while.
Watch Trump's response as he answers questions about being called daddy by the NATO Secretary General. Listen to what he said.
Trump ended the 12-day war, and now Europe's calling him daddy. And daddy likes it.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
The media said daddy was going to leave the family. But look at him front and center in the family photo. They said he was going to abandon NATO, but America first doesn't mean America alone. And now the Europeans can't stop saying, thank you, daddy.
You are a man of strength, but you're also a man of peace. And the fact that you are now also successful in getting this ceasefire done between Israel and Iran, I really want to commend you for that.
Thank you very much.
And I think this is important for the whole world. Then on spending, it's absolutely true. I want to state here, without President Trump, this would not have happened.
Europe's thanking Trump for making them spend more money. Happy wife, happy life.
Next, we're going to see Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, confront these low-level leakers when it comes to them leaking information to CNN.
So this is a report from the DIA that Fox has confirmed. It was, quote, preliminary and expressed low confidence in the findings. And yet it was all over the news yesterday. It was all the headlines yesterday. What do you say in response?
That's right, John. And President Trump is absolutely right. And he returns to Washington today after a historic NATO summit where he has gotten our NATO allies to finally pay their fair share thanks to his strong leadership on the world stage. And I'd like to take a step back and just acknowledge the history that has been made in the course of the last week thanks to President Trump's strength. 5 days ago, the rogue Iranian regime possessed the capability to create a nuclear weapon that threatened the United States, the state of Israel, and the entire world. And presidents for decades have said, dating back to Bill Clinton, that Iran cannot possess a nuclear weapon. And because of the decisive leadership of President Trump and the skill and the excellence of our United States military, that imminent threat to the United States and the world has been demolished because of the successful operation on Saturday night. And not only that, but within the span of 48 hours, President Trump was able to turn around and negotiate a successful ceasefire between Israel and Iran, ending this war after just 12 days. No other president in history could have ever dreamed of such a success, and that's exactly why the fake news media is now trying to demean and undermine the president. And we've seen this playbook be run before. You have hostile actors within the intelligence community who illegally leak bits and pieces of an intelligence assessment to push a fake news narrative. And that's what the CNN story was yesterday. And it's not a coincidence that it was written by the exact same CNN reporter who wrote the original story, falsely alleging that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. The American public are smarter than this, and they should know the truth. President Trump completely and totally obliterated the capability of Iran to produce a nuclear weapon, and the world is safer today because of his historic efforts.
One of the main people in Trump's corner calling out the fake news is the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. Watch him confront how it's basically in their DNA to hate on Trump on a regular basis.
And I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard. It's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump because you want him not to be successful so bad. You have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective. Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented him isn't true.
And you know Trump was mad. Watch him in this clip from Gutfeld. Watch how frustrated he is when he's asked a question about this shit.
Listen, and he kept the party going. He left the F word at home, but he kept the party going. That's right. He also bashed what he called fake news and the reporting of the damage done to the Iranian nuclear program. Check this gem out.
You know, the fake news, like CNN in particular, they're trying to say, well, I agree that it was destroyed, but maybe not that destroyed. You know what they're doing? They're really hurting great pilots that put their lives in the line. CNN is scum, and so is MSDNC. They're all. And frankly, the networks aren't much better. It's all fake news. You're gutless losers. I say that to CNN because I watch it. I have no choice. I got to watch that garbage. It's all garbage. It's all fake news.
On the 5, the Democratic portion of the people on the panel, namely Jessica, spoke her opinion on the leak and whether the information was accurate or not. She has a take that kind of messes with the rest of the panel and kind of pisses them off. Check out the action.
Listen, Donald Trump hates the press. It's his number one witch hunt or whatever. And Secretary Hegseth knows how to please his boss.
No,
and that was a performance.
The biased press.
No,
the biased press. They don't hate.
But
the
they
press.
decide who's biased on a daily basis. The way that he speaks to them, the way that he discredits genuine questions, and it happened today with Secretary Hegseth. European intel agencies are reporting that the uranium is intact. Senator Chris Murphy, a Democrat,
wait, Jessica, the Europeans. We were telling them Russia was going to invade Ukraine for a year, and they were like, "No, I don't see it."
Listen,
I think American and Israeli intelligence is much crisper.
Uranium was in Fordo. Why wouldn't you have wanted to totally obliterate?
To get the weapon.
Okay, so is no one concerned that there's 900 pounds of uranium, maybe in a truck, driving around the mountains there.
Well, Pete Hegseth says he hasn't seen any intelligence that they took it out in trucks. And the guest today on Martha said those trucks that they saw parked next to the mountain are not capable of bringing uranium out of there.
Senator Chris Murphy, who was also in attendance, said that saw no evidence of this, has pushed back the nuclear project any more than a few months. So time will tell.
Why is it acceptable to denigrate ICE agents, but it's not acceptable to denigrate leakers in the intelligence
But
community?
if you're talking about an ICE agent who's masked and pulling someone out of a
Then
Home
it's okay.
Depot, no, I just say don't do it.
No matter the efficacy of the strikes or basically what it destroyed or what it didn't destroy, you should be cheering for America instead of finding a way to talk shit about it. If anything, the administration that's in power right now is for the benefit of the American people, not Democrat, not Republican, the American people. So stop with the pandering and the bullshit. You need to get on board with Team America and stop rooting for the other guy. To fall more in line with what I'm talking about, watch Sky News and Lefties Losing It about people from America cheering for Iran. You can't make this up. Watch this shit.
It's time for Lefties Losing It, and here are a couple of American traitors who want the Islamist Iranian regime to wipe out the South, to blow up more than 100 million Americans in red states like Texas and Florida.
Dear Iran, this is my official application of states that you should wipe out because we did not vote for that orange Cheeto man over here in Los Angeles. Alabama.
Out of here.
Florida.
Out of here.
Arkansas.
Boom.
Oklahoma.
Get them gone.
Ohio.
No.
Kansas.
Gone.
Kentucky.
No.
Arkansas.
Red.
Tennessee.
Fire.
Texas.
Oh, double it.
You know, those low-life losers mentioned my home state of Arkansas twice. That's a declaration of war where I come from.
You know how crazy it is for you to be living in the country and then root for its downfall? What kind of diabolical crap is that? The people on the Gutfeld panel agree with me. Watch them talk about how you shouldn't be able to disrespect the people in uniform who protect the freedoms of this country. Like I said, be pro-veteran. Be pro-America. If you have a problem with the people who run office, go talk about them. Leave the military out of it.
Kat, as a half veteran, and you and Cam have Big Ben.
Yeah.
He's half veteran, so it's a total of two
technically,
veterans.
because he's half my DNA and half his, he has half veteran DNA.
So you are speaking for two in this particular case. What are you? I would argue that whether you hate Trump or not, the military should be off limits, right? You want to minimize and criticize him. Do you think it's fair that they go after the military even when they clearly did an excellent job?
See, my thing is I'm so anti-war because I am so pro-veteran.
Yes.
Right? And that's something that a lot of people struggle with, that distinction, right? And I think that it would be, just imagine going to war. I cannot imagine going to war. Sometimes when I look at my husband just standing in the kitchen in his underwear, I forget. But it's an incredible sacrifice, and absolutely everyone should be grateful for all those people who have made that sacrifice.
And again, I think you need to. She is so pro-veteran. People sometimes take anti-war for being anti-government or anti-American. She's positive people. There's a difference. Her loved one. People will be like, I don't care who goes over there as long as I get done. When someone's saying, no, I care about the veterans and the last thing I want is them to go over. There is a difference.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we shouldn't have to clarify that. That should be we should all want the same thing. I don't want veterans to go die. I'm thankful that I'm able to sit my big ass in this chair and tell it how it is because there's men and women in uniform making us able to do that, but I don't want them to lose their life just so I can sit here and talk. I think we need to understand that a little bit more, and especially for people who get, listen to people. We need to get back to listening to people and where they stand. Just don't assume because somebody disagrees with your point that they don't have good points too. We get too caught up with the propaganda media and forgetting that we're all human beings and we all have a family, and going after somebody who's anti-war because they have someone in their household who has to go fight. I think you should have a little bit more grace opposed to someone who's anti-war just to say I'm anti-war. And to
Thank you, Tyrus.
All right, now let me ask y'all a question. Do you think it's okay for people to leak sensitive information on a top secret operation where you bombing another country? Do you really think is cool, or is it out of pocket? Be honest with yourself when you answer that question in the comment section below. This has been the Vazquez Report. I'm out.